What if I told you that everything you've been taught about success is a lie? A lie that whispers, you're not ready yet. You need more time, more proof, more permission. And the worst part? You believe it. You've been told to wait, to prepare, to earn your place. But let me ask you, how much longer will you wait? How many more days will you spend convincing yourself that someday, you'll finally feel ready? Let me save you the suspense. That day will never come. Readiness is a myth. Confidence isn't something you wait for. Success isn't handed to you. These things are claimed by those who act boldly even when the path is unclear. Here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need more time. You don't need more credentials. You don't need anyone's permission. What you need is to stop waiting and start becoming the person who can live the life you want. Today, I'm going to show you how. By the end of this journey, you'll understand one thing with absolute clarity. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. So who are you willing to become? Let's begin. Part 1. The illusion of readiness. How long will you keep waiting to feel ready? That mythical moment when all doubts vanish, when your skills are polished, when the path is lit and clear. Let me spare you the wait. That moment doesn't exist. And the longer you chase it, the further you drift from what could already be yours. Life does not reward the one who prepares endlessly. It rewards the one who moves boldly, imperfectly, and yes, prematurely. The greatest deception ever sold is the idea that you must become before you act. But the truth is far simpler. You become by acting. And the most powerful act of all, to carry yourself as if you've already arrived. Not to pretend, not to fake, but to align your identity with your future reality. Because the man who waits to believe in himself will always be late. But the man who moves as though success is inevitable, he bends the world to match his conviction. We've been trained backward, told to be humble, to wait our turn, to prove ourselves before we step into the room. But this delay, this hesitation, is not humility, it's fear. And fear wears many disguises: preparation, politeness, indecision. Meanwhile, those who rise quickly don't ask for permission. They decide who they are, and they walk into every situation as if they belong. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's mental rehearsal turned into lived energy. Athletes visualize winning before they play. Entrepreneurs pitch their vision before it exists. Leaders speak as if the world already trusts them, and in time, it does. You don't become successful and then feel confident. You build confidence by acting as though you already are. This is not performance. This is identity in motion. And once you wear that identity long enough, it stops being borrowed. It becomes yours. Imagine two people applying for the same opportunity. One is more qualified on paper but hesitant, uncertain, waiting to be chosen. The other may lack the credentials, but they walk in as if they were born for it. Who gets the job? The world is not a fair judge of hidden potential. It reflects back the energy you project. Act unsure, and you create doubt in others. Act invicted, and others follow your lead. That's the power of psychological gravity. You draw people, resources, and opportunities toward the version of you that already exists in your mind. And the more consistently you inhabit that version, the more real it becomes. What holds most people back isn't lack of talent, it's the refusal to step into their future self until the world validates them. But the world never validates you first. You go first. The world follows. Act as if is not a trick. It's a discipline. It means choosing language, posture, habits, and standards that match your future, not your past. If you saw yourself as successful, would you speak like this, dress like this, think like this? Would you tolerate what you tolerate now? These questions aren't superficial. They are mirrors. The way you show up today is either a rehearsal for greatness or a ritual of stagnation. Every action, every decision, every reaction, it either affirms your future or delays it. You must make it a habit to live in alignment with your vision, not your circumstances. That's how a poor man becomes wealthy. That's how a fearful woman becomes a leader. Not by waiting, by walking in the direction of what they already believe belongs to them. If you want the crown, carry yourself like the king. The world responds accordingly. And here's the most uncomfortable truth. No one's coming to confirm your greatness. No one's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Now is the time." That moment, that validation, must come from you. The decision to act as if you've already achieved it is the decision to stop needing evidence before you move. To stop negotiating with your doubt. To lead with belief and let the results catch up. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a behavior. It is the refusal to shrink, the refusal to wait for proof. It is walking forward, even when the path is invisible. And if you do this long enough, with discipline, with clarity, with inner conviction, the world will start adjusting to you. Not because you were faking it, but because you finally gave it no other choice. Part 2. Identity first. Results. Second. Your results do not build your identity. Your identity builds your results. This may be the single greatest shift you will ever make in your life. Most people believe they need proof before belief. They wait to feel like a winner. They wait to be applauded before walking tall. But the world works in reverse. It reflects who you are being, not what you are currently earning, owning, or achieving. If you see yourself as an amateur, you will act like one, and your results will prove you right. But if you take on the mindset, discipline, and focus of a high performer, even before the external rewards show up, the world begins to rearrange itself. Success is not granted, it is claimed. And the only ones who claim it are those who have first claimed themselves. The brain cannot distinguish between imagination and reality, not when emotion is involved. That's why visualization, when done with conviction, changes behavior at a neurological level. But most people don't use this power. They replay failure. They imagine worst-case outcomes. They speak limitations into existence, then wonder why their life never changes. But what if you flip the script? What if you began each day imagining that the goal was already done, that the call was already closed, that the respect, wealth, impact, freedom was already yours? You would act differently, speak differently, carry yourself differently, and that new behavior would produce new feedback from the world. This is not daydreaming, this is identity training. You are rehearsing reality until reality obeys. The great ones don't pretend. They embody. They study the character's voice, habits, fears, posture, until there's no line between fiction and self. That's how you must become the person who lives your dream. Not from performance, from repetition, from intention, from immersion. If you want to become a world-class leader, start behaving as one now, not when you get the title. If you want to be wealthy, start making decisions as if your money matters, as if your time is precious, as if your standard of execution is high. This doesn't require lying. It requires alignment. The more you repeat this pattern, the more your subconscious accepts it. Eventually, you're not acting as if. You're simply acting, because it's who you've become. Now here's the tension. Your current environment may not match the identity you're stepping into. People around you may mock it, question it, or feel threatened by it. That's normal. Every identity upgrade disrupts the system you're in, but that's not your concern. Your concern is alignment. Are your words matching your vision? Are your habits reflecting your future? Are your standards consistent with your goals? If not, you're betraying yourself to stay comfortable, and the cost of that betrayal is your destiny. Growth requires friction. It requires being misunderstood. But the moment you stop requiring external permission and begin honoring your internal truth, your entire energy shifts. You walk into rooms differently. You stop chasing. You start attracting. Your dream life is not waiting in the future. It's waiting for you to become the person who can live it. That means you must shift from trying to being, from hoping to embodying, from reaching to owning. The job isn't to seek proof. The job is to become proof. The world has no choice but to believe in someone who already believes in themselves. And that belief isn't born from fantasies or wishing. It's born from disciplined repetition of identity-aligned action. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. So stop measuring your worth by result. Measure it by congruence. Are you living today as the version of yourself who already has it? That's the test. That's the key. That's the doorway through which all real transformation begins. Part 3. Embodied action creates evidence. Talk without movement is self-deception, and belief without action is fantasy. You can journal, meditate, and visualize all you want, but if you are not behaving in alignment with the outcome you claim to want, you are lying to yourself. It's not enough to feel like a winner. You must behave like one before the results show up. That's the discipline. Anyone can act powerful after they win. The great ones act powerful before they do, and that energy is often the reason they win. The world doesn't just reward ambition, it rewards action that confirms ambition. Your thoughts may start the engine, but your feet must move. The life you desire only unlocks when your habits stop apologizing for your circumstances and start reflecting your identity. You can't think your way into success without walking it out daily. You must practice being the person you wish to become in your speech, in your environment, in your routine. That means you must build habits that are congruent with your imagined self. If you say you are a focused entrepreneur, does your calendar reflect that focus? If you say you are a disciplined athlete, is your diet aligned with your goals? If you believe yourself a leader, are you acting with decisiveness and clarity? To act as if you've already achieved it means you live in integrity with your future. That integrity is not external, it's internal. It's how you behave when no one's watching. Because that's the version of you the world eventually sees. Most people wait for motivation to act, but those who succeed act to create motivation. The internal state is shaped by the external behavior, not the other way around. If you move your body like a confident person, you feel more confident. If you start speaking like a successful person, your thoughts adjust accordingly. Identity is reinforced by feedback, and feedback begins with movement. You must generate it. Think of it this way. Reality is slow to catch up, but it always catches up. If you start living like the results are inevitable, eventually the results will submit. Not immediately, but steadily, because action creates proof. And the more proof your mind sees, the more real the identity becomes. That's how transformation happens, not in talk, but in demonstration. Acting as if is not about delusion, it's about alignment with destiny. It is a strategy of embodiment, of planting your flag in the future and walking backward into it. This doesn't mean pretending to be something you're not. It means practicing what you are becoming. It means building evidence now that supports the story you are choosing to write. If you want to be known for excellence, do excellent work before anyone's watching. If you want to lead, lead where you are. If you want to rise, lift others now. Don't wait for a platform. Become the platform, because one day when the spotlight finally hits you, it will reveal not a performance, but preparation. And in that moment, you won't be caught pretending, you'll be caught being. The reason most people stay stuck is not lack of information, it's lack of identity congruent. They learn strategies, collect tools, buy programs, but deep down they still see themselves as unworthy, unprepared, uncertain. And so their actions, even if technically correct, are executed with doubt. That energy bleeds through everything. It repels results. But the opposite is also true. When you act from identity, when your behavior matches the future you claim, you speak with force. You move with power. You begin to shape not only your own path, but the response of the world around you. You stop seeking permission. You start setting the tone. And that's when the shift happens. You no longer need to prove it. You simply live. Part 4, the discipline of consistency. The world doesn't reward the occasional burst of effort. It rewards the relentless rhythm of consistency. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack the discipline to show up every day. They start strong, fueled by excitement, but when the novelty fades, so does their commitment. And yet, the secret to greatness is not found in grand gestures. It's found in the quiet, unglamorous repetition of small, aligned actions. Success is not a single event. It's the cumulative result of who you are being, moment by moment, choice by choice. The question is not, can you do it once? The question is, can you do it daily, even when no one is watching? Consistency is the bridge between intention and reality. It's the proof that you are serious about your vision. Anyone can dream big, but few are willing to endure the monotony of mastery. The athlete who trains in the dark, the writer who crafts in solitude, the entrepreneur who builds without applause, these are the ones who rise, not because they are special, but because they are steady. They understand that every action, no matter how small, is a vote for the person they are becoming. And the more votes you cast, the stronger your identity becomes. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be persistent, because persistence, over time, creates momentum. And momentum, once built, is unstoppable. But here's the challenge. Consistency is not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram-worthy. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's making the call when you'd rather avoid it. It's choosing discipline over distraction, again and again. And this is where most people falter. They chase the high of motivation, not realizing that motivation is fleeting. Discipline, however, is reliable. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It simply asks, what needs to be done? And then it does it. That's the mindset of a winner. Not someone who acts when it's convenient, but someone who acts because it's necessary. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble. Each strike of the chisel seems insignificant, but over time, those small, consistent efforts reveal a masterpiece. Your life is no different. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every step you take, they are shaping your future. The question is, are you shaping it intentional, or are you letting inconsistency and distraction carve a life you don't want? The truth is, you are always building something. The only difference is whether you are building by design or by default. And the only way to build by design is to commit to the discipline of consistency. Here's the paradox. The more consistent you are, the less effort it takes. What feels hard today becomes second nature tomorrow. Habits, once established, require less willpower and more automation. This is the power of compounding. Small actions, repeated over time, create exponential results. But you must be patient. You must trust the process. Because the rewards of consistency are not immediate. They are delayed. And this delay is where most people quit. But if you can endure, if you can stay the course when others give up, you will find yourself in a league of your own, not because you were the most talented, but because you were the most consistent. Part 5, the courage to stand alone. Every great journey begins with a single step, and often that step is taken alone. The path to success is not crowded. It's lonely. It requires you to break away from the familiar, to challenge the norms, to stand firm in your vision even when others doubt you. Most people are not willing to do this. They crave approval, validation, and the comfort of belonging. But greatness demands a different kind of courage. The courage to stand alone, to believe in yourself when no one else does, to keep moving forward even when the crowd is moving in the opposite direction. This is not easy, but it is necessary. The truth is, the higher you climb, the fewer people will understand your journey. They will question your choices, mock your ambition, and project their fears onto you. This is not a reflection of your path, it's a reflection of theirs. Most people fear what they don't understand, and when you step into a higher version of yourself, you become a mirror for their insecurities. But you cannot let their doubts become your doubts. You cannot let their fears become your fears. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to stay true to your vision, no matter how lonely it feels. Because the moment you compromise your truth to fit in, you lose the very thing that sets you apart. Standing alone is not about isolation. It's about alignment. It's about choosing your future over your comfort. It's about prioritizing your purpose over the opinions of others. This requires strength. It requires resilience. But most of all, it requires faith. Faith in yourself. Faith in your vision. Faith that the sacrifices you make today will be worth it tomorrow. And here's the irony. The more you stand alone, the more you attract the right people. The ones who see your vision, the ones who share your values, the ones who are walking their own path of greatness. but you will never find them if you are too afraid to walk alone. Think of every great leader, innovator, or creator. At some point, they had to make a choice, to follow the crowd or to follow their calling. They chose the latter, and in doing so, they changed the world. Not because they were fearless, but because they were willing to act despite their fear. This is the essence of courage. It's not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward even when fear is present. And the more you practice this, the stronger you become. Courage, like any muscle, grows with use. And the more you use it, the less you need the approval of others, because you realize that the only approval that matters is your own. Here's the ultimate truth. The world doesn't need more followers, it needs more leaders. It needs people who are willing to stand for something, to challenge the status quo, to create a new standard of excellence. And that starts with you. It starts with your willingness to stand alone, to trust yourself, to lead yourself. Because the moment you do, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon, a guide, a source of inspiration. And in the end, you realize that standing alone was never about being alone. It was about becoming the person you were always meant to be.